Tonight on Tonight We Race. We race. Putting the view into the pod quad on Tuesday night at Tonight We Race. We are broadcasting in the middle of a bomb cyclone. I have just been informed that our drivers are driving in the correct direction in the northern hemisphere to make the cyclone worse. We didn't really think this one ahead, and Seattle, we apologize. The drivers are in their lone qualifier on this track, which probably means that the second they finish their first lap, it's going to be all over for them. That's okay, because there are no AIs for them tonight to contend with. Just the four of them and their wheels and the mud, assuming they actually turn in any clean laps of any description. There we go. I'm seeing 4 checkered flags. Means they're probably about to get yanked.
Oh, it's not open quality, it's just 2 laps.
Yep, we did it.
Well done, everyone. You really showed them.
It certainly was a lap.
Yeah, I went around once.
Hopefully it's not going to do the thing where it waits around for the entire session. We might need Trap to pull in advance again.
It's telling me 1 minute on the remaining time, so worst case.
We don't need to wait around for a minute. We can advance it. Go ahead.
All right.
Otherwise, I'm going to be staring at your tire sculpture there for the next 60 seconds. It's going to be a 15-minute race on this tiny, tiny little donut of Kokomo Speedway. They are getting their grid prompts. Zoom, zoom, indeed.
A rolling start. Wow, okay.
I was not given the option of giving you a standing start. I apologize.
I'm just going to put it in gear right now.
I'd like you to observe your size versus that freaking pace truck. Each one of you would fit into that bed without much difficulty. Oh my goodness, you are so small.
I'll bet he doesn't even have it in 4-wheel drive.
Everything okay there?
Waiting for that green flag.
There it goes. Green, 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 and they are off. The cold open race of Tuesday night. Cold open races are, of course, not worth any points, and therefore not worth any honor. You can only hurt yourself in a cold open race. Yourself and your racing pod. Trap deep in traffic. And again, no AIs tonight. This is just as pals. I use the phrase pals pretty loosely in this context. 2 of our drivers have opted to remain on the sequential paddles, and 2 have opted to reconfigure their barrel shifters into a proper sequential configuration, which is all the clicking and clacking you may be hearing behind me. A little bit of counter steer, a little bit opposite lock. Oh no! Guess who just snuck in? It's Drain. Oh, actually, no, it's Drain's up front. Space Beauties is the white, red, and black. Closing in on Drain with a high and outside strategy, maintaining 50, 60 miles an hour while he does so. Drain a little bit further inside with a little bit more lock. Actually cutting off the ends of those kidney beans. Seems to be keeping the field firmly in his rear view. Space Beauties encounters the other car. It's a trap. Trap currently in his pitting display, apparently, which is unfortunate. It means we can't see his position. But also, if we say his name any louder, he's going to wreck, which is, of course, the curse of broadcasting.
Still there. Clear. Slow car down low.
Our driver's definitely getting all 4 legs of the actuators tonight.
The leader is coming up on you. They're not our fight.
It's always interesting to see how people react to haptic forces. Some people fight it, some people lean into it, and some people, their brains actually fill in all the blanks that the simulation is not providing them, and they react as if those things were really happening. I love seeing people bounce around at forces that don't technically exist. The human brain is a wonderful thing, don't you think so? Still fighting around the outside, maintaining about 60 miles an hour, chasing around after Drain. 12 minutes remaining on the clock. Draining holding on his position in number 1, but not by much. 1.6 seconds, 1.4 seconds separating him from disaster. Space Puny's hot on his heels. Itsatrap right behind him. Vroom, says Rella. And Rella, I agree. How's the weather down there, Rella? Is it doing 60-mile-an-hour winds? Like these Coriolis cars? Yeah, you win this one tonight. I'm envious. Oh, Mickey's sneaking in. And then sneaking back out. The real question on these muddy tracks is, can he accomplish the pass without trading a little bit of momentum with his buddy there? Drain's still maintaining a lead of about 1.4 seconds with 11 minutes on the clock. Probably worth pointing out at this point that our drivers that have opted to up their wheels to the 10, 15, or higher Newton meter configurations, they are probably starting to feel some fatigue of holding this turn for this long. 1.2 seconds. Space Puny's arrests an almost fatal, and by fatal I mean time fatal spin there. Drain also making some strange grunting noises from behind me. Uh-oh. Oh, no. I think Trap just got inadvertently pitted. With a questionably safe re-entry strategy. Sir, I think race control might be cross at you.
I'll stop down low.
The whole track is a pit.
He's got a point. Which brings us back to this drama.
Post race 10 seconds. What? I got pushed into the pit.
Well, that just means you have to win by 10 seconds. You'll be fine. Drain's still out in front, holding a 2.5 second advantage. As you can see, these laps are really only 16 seconds at the first place, so it's a reasonable fraction of a lap around the track. Space Puny's trying to reel him in, but also in traffic now. This could get interesting. Hearing some serious noises. Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, that explains that. It's like, why are Trap's actuators going nuts? Aha.
Keep thinking I'm safe, but the track's a circle. So I'm gonna keep going on it.
The beginning is the end. It's like a snake eating its tail.
tried clean racing and it didn't seem to be working, so I'm
Uh-oh.
wondering about the other option.
It sounds like Itsatrap has chosen violence.
I mean, probably not super intentionally, but I mean, if I'm gonna get hit,
It's America. You got to give to get. There's a get to give. I was going to make a statement about Space Puny's outside strategy here, but the reality is he has reeled Drain in. He is within striking distance. 1 second. If he stays entirely to the outside and doesn't lose the farm here, he might do it quietly and silently.
Car outside, car stop down low, clear outside.
Drain with a big dollop of mayonnaise in the center.
Low, go high.
I would like to point out that we gave everybody a mayonnaise wiping button before the race began.
Outside, clear up top. Car
it's pretty great.
outside, clear, car stop down low. Go high, outside, clear outside if you want it. Car inside, still in.
There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Oh no, Mickey, did you have to do a tow?
Yeah, I had to do a tow.
Oh, is there damage on?
No, but if the car's flipped over, it's problematic.
the car doesn't drive on its roof.
Relic Kit Cap sponsorships were a week 2 thing. This is a week 3 thing. We're on to Liquid Death. It does things with chemicals. I don't know that for certain. I'm not a doctor.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
The fight with Drain and Space Punies, still this outside-inside, like, whose philosophy of battle remains supreme thing here. This is like Clausewitz versus Sun Tzu. For what it's worth, it looks like Clausewitz is winning, so. Widened it up to 1.3. 5 minutes on the clock. Coming up to some traffic.
15 points.
Traps pod making some real noises here.
Leader is running 15.388.
With almost exactly 5 on the clock, where has the drama gone? Here's a little.
It's really hard to get the push to talk button when the steering wheel's just flying around.
Yeah. There does seem to be a gap to get off the track on the outside.
I do not recommend you try to get out the track via the outside. That does not go any place you want to be. Are you familiar with the concept of liminal space?
I see.
That's
There's
a
no
liminal
concessions
space.
out
Don't
there.
go there. Trap still wearing that black flag with pride.
The leader is running.
Sir, we're going to need you to keep the car facing in the direction of the storm. Space Punies 3 behind Drain now. Drain catching up the traffic. Track's really wide enough, though, that the traffic hasn't been all that much of a factor, if I'm being honest. Drain not amending strategy, however. Trap, has your pod become particularly noisy, or are you just having a particularly bad time keeping it straight?
A little bit of both. I'm doing a strategy where I'm taking kind of a circular path, which requires a lot more turning.
All right. Just making sure you're not about to lose a corner or something. Ooh, that was clean. That was clean.
Car inside. Clear inside. Car inside. Clear.
I pallet in nature. I don't know how to take the low road.
Clear.
When you're done with that cross, you can get off it. Minute 30 on the clock. It is still very much Space Punies and Drain trying to fight it out with about 2 minutes and 2.5 seconds gap between them. Both of them have a little bit of traffic to contend with, so this could go either way. Our cold open race, of course, not for points. This means nothing. None of this means anything. Oof. "30 seconds. Good recovery on Mickey's part. Oh, but then he snaps it back. Oh, and that's curtains. But not one to admit defeat. He cranks it back onto first and tears back out. Slapping that sequential around. Drain 2.5 back with 7 seconds left. All on Space Punies to not eat it at this point. Oh, Jesus. Well, that could have been it right there.
You won. You drive a great race.
The infield fireworks, I love it.
Okay, the race.
Let's go with safe merges, friends. And that's the checkered flag. 1, 2, 3, 4 checkered flags and a black flag to round it out. Let's go ahead and get somebody out to a results screen. Oh dear, Drain. So, survey says Space Punies in first, followed very closely by Drain. Strange popping in pedestrian models in third. In fourth place, Pod 1, Itsatrap, and Mickey rounding us out in fourth. Nice work, everyone. Go ahead and bring it in and avail yourselves of the green room and some beverages. And we are going to do a quick 30-second safety check on the front of Pod 1 just to make sure that we haven't heard anything. Hang out.
Probably for the best.
Trap's solution to adversity is to drive harder and faster. That's feeling good.
So yes, that was definitely my arm workout for the week.
Well, Well, assuming no one drives anything into the wall for the next 3 hours, we're going to be just fine.
It'll be great.
Where are we? Ah, yes. The place.
The place.
Welcome to Tonight We Race, Seattle's secret underground racing laboratory.
A secret because we don't want the bomb cyclone to find us.
Underground, also because we don't want the bomb cyclone to find us.
The racing bit, we hope, is self-explanatory at this point.
And lab, because here on Tonight We Race, we want to expose you to some of the aspects of simulation you may not have convenient access to, not all of which necessarily involve racing. So stick around, stay warm and dry, and maybe we'll be managed to keep the power on all night. I'm Maradine, host and person that cares about fonts, and tonight I'm joined by Itsatrap from the Tuesday crew. Trap, it's week 3. How is the season looking?
Yeah, we've seen some good racing so far. I think we're getting a sense of who's got the cars figured out. But the ovals this week should be fun.
This is a thing that people haven't done before with any real frequency, so I'm also looking forward to that. Let's go ahead and advance to the thing with the stuff.
Oh, yeah. So before we move on, let's take a look at the opening race. That was the Legends Ford 34 Coupe, which might look like a relic of the past, but it's actually a modern spec racer with a tube steel frame, a Yamaha Superbike engine putting on 120 horsepower, and massive tires for shredding dirt and paved tracks alike. You can have one right now for under $20,000 and be shredding tracks in style this weekend.
We put those little monsters on Kokomo Speedway in the heart of Indiana. It's a quarter-mile of banked clay, minimal safety barriers, and soft grass infield. I would not recommend standing in before, during, or after a race. As always, we'll intro our drivers before the first feature race, but before that, let's run the news. And I believe you've got the first one tonight.
I do. So it's race week in Formula One, which means all the oxygen has been sucked out of the room for other topics. You can go online and read all the analysis of various driver finishes that would lead to an outright Max Verstappen victory for this season. Or you could take our word for it, that barring a disaster, Verstappen's going to lock up the season on Saturday night.
Hey, we broadcast on Saturday night.
Well then, I guess we'll know why no one's in chat.
Fair enough. Moving on, Hyundai announced a thing. This is the Hyundai Elantra N TCR, and if that sounds like the name of a touring car championship, you'd be correct. Well, at least the top one of those is. The bottom one also is. We're not exactly sure how the homologation works here, but basically they've released a road-legal Elantra N that tracks to the touring car spec as closely as possible. We, of course, have the touring car in iRacing. It's a 350 horsepower little monster with front-wheel drive and a big swan neck wing. Of course, now so is this new one.
Are we getting it here in the States?
No. But frankly, I don't think it would serve any purpose because it has to exist simultaneously with this. This is the Hyundai Ioniq 5N, which is an electric hot hatch with 641 horsepower for 60 grand. It's got the 800-volt charging system like the Audis and the Porsches have. It'll do a 20-minute, 80% charge, and will even put up numbers like a Taycan or an e-tron or even a Tesla S. It has an electric system for simulating clutch kick and like breaking the back wheels loose to initiate a drift, if that's the sort of thing you want to do. It's got like a grin button that temporarily gives you another 100 horsepower. So I think like nominally it only does 541 versus 641. It's nuts.
Yeah, this new world is silly.
Yeah, but I'm actually kind of starting to enjoy it. Let's talk about the schedule. It's Tuesday night, which means that we have the Tuesday Crew Racing Tuesday League. You already saw the Dirt Legends Ford 34 Coupe on Kokomo Speedway. A little bit later in the program tonight, we are going to do our first feature race, which is the NASCAR Xfinity Series on the world-famous Talladega Superspeedway, and then finally the SRX on Pocono Raceway, and we'll talk about all of those fun things very shortly here. I thought we had a standings slide. I guess maybe we've moved the standings slide. Did we move it? Yeah.
Oh,
there
yeah.
we go. Let's talk about the standings in season 1. Of course, we do 5, 3, 2, 1 point scoring for the feature races for the Tuesday night crew because there's only 4 of them, and we do offer 1 challenge point per night based on what the challenge is. And as we stand right now, Space Punies sitting in the lead with 11 points, and the asterisk denotes that he made some of that based on his challenge performance. Drain in 6th. Trap, I'm noticing that the week 2 line item here doesn't have any of the scores in it. Did we not update the actual standings here?
I don't
am
know
I
that we
doing people
did.
dirty by not giving people the score? Let's pull up the actual back end season scorecard real quick and make sure that we didn't screw up here.
So that...
Here's the Tuesday night crew. We actually didn't record Tuesday night crews. Radical SR8, Audi LMP1, and the challenge point. Well, that's my mistake. I have to go back in and watch the entire broadcast and make sure that I put people in the right connections. So this is actually not correct. For all we know, Mickey is in first place with lots of challenge points. So we will go back and fix that. In the meantime, though,
I want to say that those standings are probably similar to current standings, just with larger numbers.
so back to the drivers. Trap in pod number 1 tonight, graciously doing double duty as host. It is something that I do myself on Saturday, and I guarantee you it is both a mental and physical workout having to both drive and be up here on camera. In pod number 2, Space Punies, who still bears the soul of Bjork. We're not sure how that happened in the first place. Pod 3, Mickey, who refuses to give me another image. And then finally, in pod 4, Drain, the man with the glossy photo. So let's go ahead and advance to what we are going to do in feature race number 1. And I'm also going to go ahead and bop the flash alert button so that people can start getting into their next session. That brings us to about here.
Oh, yeah.
So it's oval night, and you can't really call yourself that without racing actual NASCAR cars at some point. And so here you go. We're racing the NASCAR Xfinity Series race cars tonight. The Xfinity Series car is kind of the second tier spec in NASCAR racing. You can put out up to 700 horsepower through its 5.8 liter V8 if it's left unrestricted, of course, and we hope to put that to good use.
And we definitely will put that power to use because we are racing on the Talladega Speedway, Super Speedway, where speed records were being set since the facility's introduction in 1969. At that first race, they clocked 199 miles per hour.
In 1969?
Yeah, in 1969. It's 2.66 miles of smooth asphalt, high banks, and hardcore partying in the infield. It got so bad that they asked to jail outside. Oh, dear.
So I read this story. Apparently, the infield party at Talladega was the actual event. Like, it's not... The race was just kind of ancillary. It was what happened in the gigantic infield before and after the race that was actually the true event at Talladega. And I've read some stories that weren't so flattering about it.
Oh, dear. Well, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, we are not simulating that part, at least not on camera.
Fair enough. So we're going to go ahead and run the feature race. Let's go break this back out to the pods. Do we need to get people cycled in? Looks like we've got everybody except Trap, and that's my fault because I'm keeping him up here with us. These, of course, are going to be on the sequentials, so people are free to stop using their BDHs if they want to. That was a dangerous from the Space Punies. What's up? One moment. Sequential not working, paddles? Clutch in, no paddles? Can't possibly actually be an English. Gas cars are 6-speed manuals. Really? Yeah. We have just learned that the Xfinity race cars are in fact 6-speed manuals, which changes a couple of things. Not for them, they still have to go race, but for me.
Lots of clacking.
Out they go on their practice session, trying to adhere to the pit lane restrictions and rules. I informed the drivers up front that they would be dealing with 30 AI friends for this feature race. So far, no one has thrown anything at me.
you will get black flagged if you don't do the pit exit correctly.
It wouldn't be Tonight We Race if we didn't get someone black flagged on the practice. Well, that's a lot of infield. I was listening to the introductory section, and apparently there's supposed to be a kegger in there. Can you get to that?
I mean, we'll have to stay on the inside for this pit exit.
Well, so you don't need to do the pit exit at 45 miles an hour. Once you are out of the speed zone where it flashes that screen, you can go as fast as you want. You just need to stay on the line until you break the plane.
That is quite the banked turn.
18 degrees. No, sorry, 33 degrees. It's a lot, is what I'm saying. There you go. Now that you're over the blue line, it's weapons free.
These are 6-speed or 4-speed?
I'm going to go with 4-speed. But I mean, if you keep shifting and nothing happens, you're out of gears.
Seems not to respect when I put it past 4.
Then I would humbly suggest they're 4 speeds. You can tell I watch a lot of NASCAR.
Do I actually need the brakes on this track?
On Talladega, in an Xfinity, no, probably not. So it's all about lines and traffic.
Do you have a zip tie that I can put around the gas pedal?
Yeah.
That would not pass. That would not pass tech inspection.
A Hendrix zip tie? Who are the constructors now in NASCAR?
It's a good question. For the Xfinity Cup, the options are, or at least these are Ford, Chevy, and Toyota. The Supra. The Camry is apparently still legal, but they're not offering support for it anymore. I don't know why I know this. It's about the cars I know it. It's about the tracks I'm kind of worthless. That's why we split those things up.
This track is ridiculous.
Is it ridiculous because you're doing 174 miles an hour, or because people are pulling into your traffic?
Again, I have not touched the brake pedal.
Good.
I like the
Nor
F-Zero
should you.
style. Where to look through the turn, I'm looking at the top of my windscreen.
Well, now that you've had a little taste of blood, go ahead and bring it in for the qualifier.
I mean, I'm not sure I can really hear you over the engine noise.
What?
I live out here now, Dad.
Yeah. This is the track where like the audio engineer's sins are laid bare.
Do I need to dial all the pods down a little bit? I can do that.
No, it's authentic.
It is kind of loud.
True story. I worked at Rockingham Motor Speedway one time, like running admission gate or whatever, and I didn't bring earplugs with me or any ear pro, and that was a huge mistake.
Oh no.
I was in the restroom shoving like paper towels in my ears.
Itsatrap, please bring the session in.
I feel like the real race is the race against power outage.
I should figure out how to change my my display.
Trap, I realize you're experiencing some sort of Zen moment out there, but I actually need you to advance the session to the qualifier.
I can do that, yes.
I'm really glad we found your happy place. Hit the button. You're going to get 30 full minutes of the happy place. Well, I'm counting the qualifier.
29 minutes.
I think we may have found Trap's thing.
I mean, it's a different sort of racing.
Good luck on your qualifiers. There they go.
I need like a Winston cigarette.
Space Punies has entered Flavor Country. Out there on his lone qualifier. I don't think I saw the flying. Yep, there it goes. Flying lap. This is the hot one. Yes, Shote. They have entered Flavortown. These are some good splits going up here. I'm very curious to see how this is going to go.
Where is Talladega?
Where's Talladega?
Yeah.
I mean, in the south.
North of Atlanta.
Is it north of Atlanta or is it? No, I'm thinking of Daytona. Never mind. It's like Space Punies has deposited a 54.65. Mickey a 54.56. Drain a 54.45. And Trap has not reactivated his lap time display, which we will fix between sessions.
Yeah, I need to figure out how to do that.
It's the right-hand wheel. It's your black box. So that's the brake balance wheel. It's the one that's more like a joystick.
I'll have to look for it at some point.
Yeah, we'll get it in the middle. Rella says it's in Alabama, and Rella would know. He's in the South.
Pit boxing, 10. 5, 3, 2, 1. Right here.
All right, Trap. Let me get your display there.
Yo, my pit crew's a bunch of chicken heads.
What's your pit crew doing, other than being very nice to you while you're being mean to them?
Just gawking at me.
Oh, good. It's like,
What you looking
is he
at?
gonna die? Do I get a seat?
Yeah.
All right, you can go ahead and pull yourselves out of the cars, and I believe that is what advances us. Oh, we've got AIs out there, so Trap, you're going to want to hit the button. A lot of them, by the way.
There's no way this isn't going to be a mess.
Oh, I'm fully expecting it to be a mess. I'm hoping it's
Yeah,
going to be a
all
mess.
right.
Have you seen a NASCAR race?
It's fine.
We are
until
looking
it
for
isn't.
what they refer to
I have
as
actually seen
the
a
big
NASCAR
one.
race. At the time, it was Infineon.
Drain, you can go ahead and grid in.
Sorry.
You're good.
Right now. 1 lap to green. Line up on the inside. Pit road is closed right now.
Oh, we're way faster.
Everyone's gridded.
Yeah, how did the times manage to work out there?
Almost
Hey, look at that.
2 seconds.
Wait, hold on. Did you guys qualify at the front?
Yeah.
What?
Oh my goodness. For the first time
What's
in
up with
Tonight We
these
Race
AIs?
history, it's the humans' race to lose.
This is how we'll beat them, boys.
Unified front.
With that said, it would be totally on brand for us to someone to blow the start, so do please wait for the green. Like, stay on pace, but wait for the green to pass.
Oh, I learned my lesson.
It's mostly for Dr. Gould, who's probably still out there seething. That's not fair. I'm told he's pretty chill. You know, almost 3 mile tracks kind of a lot at 70 miles an hour.
I mean, it took us, what, 54 seconds to get around this thing?
Stately. Elegant. Calvin Klein. Probably not the right brand.
I'm amused that they number the turns.
No Supras out there? It's disappointing. I thought someone would bring the token BMW.
When in America.
Time to do your
You
job.
can speed up, I think, right?
No green flag yet.
You cannot break
No green
position
flag.
until
But
the green
pace-
flag, which is that right there. Oh shit! They are neck and neck. Mickey out there in front. Space Beauty's in clear air. Trap a little bit back in traffic, and that's where we're going to watch from. Don't you dare lift.
Oh,
Little
wow.
bit of
you got
Intel branding in
drive.
your
How did
face
you do
there.
that? What the heck?
Oh shit! Was that the big one? A big one? One that is large?
Yikes.
You've been informed that there's a
That-
wreck in turn 3. It's Drain. He's getting himself cleared up. Itsatrap out towards the front in position 7 now. Space Puny's in position 6, and he can see the 1 through 5 pack up there ahead of him. He's got to figure out how he's going to close that gap. I'm pretty sure that's Mickey out in front, if I'm reading this correctly. The wolves on his hindquarters. Race control trying to give him good advice. Force is pushing him up and out. Space Beauty's trying to catch up to that pack. He's about 3 seconds out. Drain getting back up to speed. He got knocked all the way to the back, but there's a big pack in front of him. Trap holding it down at position 9. He's got some distance to cover to catch up. quiet concentration from the pods.
Okay, 30 minutes at 175 miles an hour.
Yeah. It's a little easier on the arms.
Has NASCAR brought the Zen out in the Tuesday crew? Space Punies 4.5 out from that pack up ahead. Speaking of which, Mickey's still up the front of that pack, just turned in a 52.1. He's 2 seconds off his qualifying pace. That's pretty serious. Space Puni is now 6.6 out from that pack. He's going to have to find a better line. Trap's picked up a position in 8th, closing in on 7. It's
Checking those mirrors.
turning in a 53.6. Drain starting to gain on his pack, 5.2 out. Mickey in deep concentration.
They're going way faster than they were in qualifying.
Yeah, I feel like it.
Everybody's going faster than they were in qualifying.
No, I'm losing 3 seconds a lap now.
Space Punies, what kind of speed are you holding in the straights?
178.
Let's do a little bit of broadcaster analysis here. Yeah, Mickey's car and his pack, they're all holding 185, 186.
Did I lose some aero when I hit?
That's possible, but I'm thinking it's more
Oh,
possible.
no, I need to get in the airflow. There we
Yeah,
Yeah, now we got the pack.
there you
Never
go.
mind.
Now you're cooking with gas. You don't want to be alone out there.
That's wild. I need the Peloton.
This is the endurance part of the race.
All of a sudden, drafting makes sense to everyone.
Oh, that's
Just need to hold
wild.
that line.
$187. The Space Punies pack is really cooking. However, they're trying to catch up with the Mickey pack, which is also really cooking.
Absolutely frustrating way to race.
Not sure how I'm supposed to catch this guy up front.
You lost your little aerodynamic bubble.
I think I lost him. Just be close enough. No, I'm close enough. I'm in their bubble.
Yeah, you're pulling them back in. Mickey's pack out there turning in 188 on the straight, 189. Drain out there in the clear air at 177.
I have no idea what the spread is on the track.
Well, the track is 2.66 miles, and there's about 33 of you, so we can do a little math.
I mean, but like, where are the cars on the track? Are they in a big pack or what?
So there is a big pack out in front in Mickey Land. I'm going to say that's 5 cars, and that's the 1 through 5 pod. Followed by the Space Punies pod, which is kind of like the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th cars. And then question marks. And then oh no, you're at the front of the Space Punies pack.
It's great.
Yeah, you and Space Punies are in the same pack. You're all bleeding the same energy. Then a whole bunch of question marks, and then Drain. Drain is currently dealing with all the air that has not been prepared for him, which is unfortunate.
So I'm not requesting this, but I think that one of the big things about actual races is the whole pitting strategy.
So you're saying that we should, when we do ovals, we should make mandatory pits?
I mean, it might add to it.
Or,
the track itself
or
is
mandatory 5-gallon fuel tanks.
something like that.
We can definitely look into that.
How long do these tires normally last in real life?
Right?
It's a very good question. In theory, you've got tire wear telemetry in your black box. Since we've got damage turned off for reasons, though, however, I don't think that's applying. At some point between either Season 1 and 2 or Season 2 and 3, we are going to need the transition to the full damage experience. This is the training wheel season.
I mean, I wonder if having damage on but reduced pit times.
Trap in 6th, holding at the front of that pack. Space Punies in 9th, but basically in like one of those grabby hand distances from Trap. And Mickey in the fricking zone. Well, it's oval night on Tonight We Race, and as far as we can tell, people are driving in an oval. What's this? Space Punies get out in front of his pack? Oh, my goodness, perhaps some drama.
Immediately, just like top speed drops out in front.
Yeah, aero is a thing.
We got a time to the last lap if you leapfrog correctly.
18 minutes on the clock in this endurance fest.
Oh, there's a bug on my windshield. Fun.
Do you have a button for that? Oh no. You telling him you can't reach around the front of the car and pull the bug off?
This bug's gonna go the distance.
Did they put windshield wipers on this thing?
Mickey coming up to the blue and yellow ahead of him, which means Drain is about to get the injection of aerodynamic energy he needs. The question is, who does he draft in with, and who does he kill in the process? coming up in the rear view. Going for the outside. Drain picking up 2 miles an hour, 3 miles an hour, 4 miles an hour. He's at 184. He's at 185. Drain has re-entered the speed club. Mickey's still holding on out in front. Space Puny's at the front of Pack 2. Trap challenging around the outside of Pack 2. He's going high and outside and losing it in the air. I would love to see a computer-generated aerodynamic model of how much of a bow shock that car out in front is producing for that bubble to be that big. It's got to be astounding. A little bit of a nibble there from Space Beauty's actuators. The gap to the next pack is getting smaller.
There might be time. But that might be a solo out there.
This
Yeah.
is rough. I'm like, I want to keep the lower line if I can, but I can't.
You got to muscle in there, man. You got to take the line you think is yours.
Take what's yours.
This isn't none of that namby-pamby Formula One open wheel shit. God gave your car sheet metal for a reason, son. I am beginning to understand the appeal of alcohol when watching a NASCAR event. "15 minutes on the clock, 14:20 really. And all the drama right now is, can Mickey hold on to number one? Can Trap cause an optimal collision of pack number two? He holds on to it. Shifts back to third. Oh no. That's going to cost him, but it is recoverable.
So that's what trying to muscle cars around gets you.
Space Puny's now left all alone with,
Yeah.
with no pack and no fun air.
No 5 miles per hour.
Run out the oars and start rowing.
Actually, well, if I can catch this guy, both of us can enter a pact.
Gonna have to start munching on that yellow line down there.
Take the pit lane shortcut.
I think you just straight up got him, and you're in his air.
But we need to work together to get the packs ahead.
I don't know if that's anyone you can communicate with in any useful fashion. That's David Carrillo. David's got a reputation for not talking to people. Bye, David. Mickey's still out in front in pole.
How far?
He's turning in 51 threes, maintaining 186 miles an hour. excuse me, 51 twos, maintaining 187 miles an hour. Space Punies has advanced beyond his micro pack. Drain in traffic in 34, but now making much better time. He's probably going to start munching on singles here shortly. Trap's little experiment with non-consensual contact cost him a couple of positions, but he is clawing back to the front of that pack.
Yeah, no way I'm getting 25 seconds in 11 minutes.
All right. Let's see if we can do this.
Oh, and yeah, you're going to catch up.
Trap's making his push. He is going to connect. To the outside. Well, that was an unfortunate reemerge there. I think you killed Space Punies. What happened there?
Don't trust your mirrors.
Space Punies taking a big hit in the standing there and getting back up to speed. Drain has taken 2 positions since last we checked on him and is now turning in 51 twos. Pulls ahead of his pack. Not worth a position in that particular case, but that should enable him to come catch up to this single here. Trap now back in position 6, holding the front of his pack. Turning in 51
Now I just got to
twos,
hold it.
and probably looking for the back of Mickey's pack, which is coming around. He's about 5 seconds out of the 28 position, Michael Hinkle. Not 100% certain what pack he's part of. Some unfortunate sideways driving. Doesn't appear to be anybody else involved in that one. Drain struggling to get back up to speed. The car's not nearly as capable when not under the influence of 175 miles an hour of aerodynamics. Mickey back in the lead after that knife fight with his pack there. Now he needs to make sure he doesn't outpace them by far enough that he loses his full aerodynamic advantage. For instance, right here like this. That's what I like to see, drivers glancing at their mirrors in terror. Trap at the front of his pack, now in position 5. Driver's experiencing some hand fatigue here. We are now receiving note that White Center is experiencing a power outage, so the bomb cyclone continues around us, knocking down neighborhoods. While for better or worse, we casually bang out laps on Talladega. Mickey in front with the bots right on his heels, maintaining a tight pack. Space Punies in 33, looking to catch his lone operator. Drain in 34, but getting the advantage from the front of the pack. Six minutes left on the clock. Driver's definitely feeling the effects of fatigue. This is where everyone starts questioning their wheel force choices.
This is weirdly tiring for an oval.
It's a different type of fatigue, right? It's not the fatigue of constantly fighting a car through the corners. It's the fatigue of fighting one car through one corner in one direction. Trap turning in 51.251. It's not clear if he's going to get through the 11 seconds needs to get through here. That is technically faster than what Mickey's turning in now. Drain's micro pack is moving but not clearing the ground. He's got 24 seconds to go to catch up to Space Punies, which may happen because he's out there in clear air. If we had known at the beginning of this race what we know now, the briefing might have been, under no circumstances can you lose your pack. Sacrifice anything to stay with your pack. Trap in 5th, 7 seconds to catch to his next actual target, which means not the car that's up ahead of him or the car that's past him, but the pack. Oh, excuse me, I stand corrected. Ahead 2.9 seconds. He might actually catch up here. Is that really a solo hanging out there? Guess we'll find out when he goes by. Is that the number 18 car?
All right, here we go.
Yeah, try not to kill anyone this time. Especially not the mayonnaise car. Mayonnaise car lives another day.
Oh, is that Mickey out in front?
That is, in fact, Mickey out in front.
I hope nothing goes wrong up there.
Don't you dare.
Come on, man. He's having an incredible race. Carry him
I was
through
like
this.
back far enough that I could like check a. Who's up there?
We've got 3 minutes left, and Mickey damn might pull this off.
Watching that clock tick down.
This is where the drivers start second-guessing race control. Race control can't bring you victory. Only you can bring you victory. Drain following excellent lines with some banger laps, but 17 seconds to get to Space Punies.
All right, when you pass, hold your line. Don't cut in.
Trap in position 4. But he's got 25 seconds to get to the next one, so that's probably going to be it for him. Mickey needs to hold on for about a minute. Should be seeing a white flag here any second. One minute left on the clock. Things getting a little dicey in Space Punies land. Mickey being informed that he only has 5 laps of fuel left, which is fine because he only has 2 laps of race left. White flag for Mickey. This is it, the final push. Trap coming around the bend to the same line.
5 laps of fuel left. Well, 1 more lap left, so good.
Can Mickey hold it together for 1 more lap? And that's going to be the checkered flag. He's got to feel good about that. Not only was he the first human to cross the line, he was in fact in first for the entire field. Space Punies with the white flag. Bringing it home. Checkered flag takes a couple positions on the inside there at the very end.
Here's the checker.
White flag for Drain. Coming around turns 3, 4. And checkered flag. That's checkered flag for everyone. Everyone is through their Talladega Super Speedway Challenge. Congratulations, everyone. That looked brutal.
Strangely tiring.
Somebody go ahead and bring me through to a results screen so I can not fail to record your scores properly and go back to the sheet. I already know who was in number 1. It's going to be Mickey up front in number 1. And Mickey, can you scroll down through that list for me? Trap in position 4, so that's 2 for our purposes. Thank you, Space Punies. And bringing it in at the end there is Space Punies and Drain we have a lot to talk about after everybody goes back in. We run Bring a Trailer, which is right now. So congratulations, everyone. Go ahead and take a break and cool off your arms, grab a beverage, and we will speak to everyone here shortly. Trap, how you doing?
That was a race.
You killed someone out there on the track.
Is that what
You were
happened?
responsible for a murder,
Oh no.
as far as I can see.
Oh no.
There has been a formal protest from the number 2 pod driver here.
Oh no.
You're gonna have to be held accountable for that.
I'll have to watch this replay and see what actually happened.
We are all going to watch the replay.
There were 2 spots where I know there was contact.
But before we do that, I need Space Peonies. We're actually going to talk to Space Peonies before you.
I see.
So take a walk.
I will let him know. All right.
Space Peonies, how you feeling?
I'm incensed.
What happened out there?
I got my nose cut off hard. Ooh,
There
we'll
you
get
go.
right in there.
So was it a merge? It was a post pass merge.
Post pass merge, that was enough to knock me off, but keep them in line. So
That's rough.
yeah,
Do they do people get criminal referrals for that sort of thing? Should I be contacting the Attorney General or?
call the cops, call the FBI, call the CIA. Throw the NSA in there too. Who knows?
Let me see if I can make it up to you.
Yeah. Okay.
With this challenge,
Oh no.
I would like for you to tell me which of these 2 cars went for more on Bring a Trailer. Would you like to know about them?
Yes.
All right.
Let's try and regain 1 point.
In the left-hand position, we have a 2009 CTSV. You may recall the CTSV is what Cadillac started producing when they tried to prove that they could make performance cars again.
Yeah.
And by all accounts, it was a complete success. The CTSV is brutal out on the road and the track. 6,000 miles. Spends most of its time in a collection.
Sorry, what? 6,000 miles? On a
Uh,
2009?
Yeah, that's 6,000 miles on the Odo. Let me go double check the
Dang.
full notes here. It's been living in Merritt Island, Florida, if that means anything.
Yeah, that does.
All right, so Raven over Ebony. So they're very into their dark colors here. Micro Suede, which I guess is a small. Is that Alcantara? It's probably Alcantara. It's a 6-speed automatic. Obviously, the 6.2 liter LSA
boo.
V8.
Okay.
Brembo disc brakes, Bose sound, clean Carfax, clean Illinois title, despite living in Florida. A lot of that going on around here. 19-inch spoke wheels,
Snowbird's going.
200-mile-an-hour speedometer, and for the first time, I can say that's not terribly much of an exaggeration here. 6,200 TAC, rear-wheel drive only, obviously. It was, at the time of its optioning, $69,000.
Okay.
Compared with the 57,000-mile Z06. This is a 2007 Z06. It has had aftermarket Veraram air intakes, aftermarket camshaft, long tube headers, and ECU tune on a naturally aspirated engine, but whatever. QA1 coilovers, both 18 and 19-inch multi-piece wheels, black vinyl roof wrap, Alpine head unit. It's a 7-liter LS7 V8 paired with a 6-speed manual gearbox.
Yeah.
Finished in machined silver over ebony leather. First registered in Wisconsin, of all places. Spent time in California before the seller got it in 2020, and now has 57,000 miles. No accidents, clean California title in the seller's name. Most of this is just a fluff piece about the Z06. Again, 200 miles speedo, and we believe it on this particular car. The Carfax report lists a mileage inconsistency with a note that it may just be a clerical error.
That's not a clerical error. Shoot, that might be in its. Okay.
So about the same age.
Yeah. If the Caddy were a manual and a wagon, that would be an easy one. But because it's
That's
an
right.
automatic,
They did make that in a wagon,
Yeah.
didn't they?
that would easily, I think, be the winner. But I think because it's auto and it's regular degular, I'm gonna go with the Corvette, the Z06.
So I'm gonna log you as the Z06. I'm gonna tell you why I personally think you're wrong here.
Okay.
And that is, anything ECU related at all on a
Yeah.
naturally aspirated car, automatically disqualified.
Okay.
I don't know what the hell you did to this thing.
And also, yeah, if there's a clerical error and it's actually being admitted, then that's not good either.
But let's see what the internet said, or rather,
Who bought it?
What dollars changed hands?
Oh!
And the answer is it's the caddy by about $1,500.
Shucks. Okay.
Both of them shedding well over half their value, but like looked at in the inverse, both of them have kept half their value despite being 15-year, 18-year-old cars.
Yeah.
So you didn't get that one, but it was awful close. And I think it could go either way. Again, personally, like you're fucking around with the ECU. Like, don't screw with software, man. Like it's not like there's a variable over here that's your max boost, and you turn that from a 10 to a 12 psi, which is kind of a safe thing to do. This is like you're fucking with cam timings, and you're doing all sorts of crazy shit.
Yeah. Never become the PO that you curse.
Yeah, no, there you go. No points for you today. I'm sorry,
Shucks.
but we'll have
I'm
but,
way outta here.
but we'll have a better account of what that means for you here shortly.
next?
I need trap.
Trap.
Well, I'm getting both of my colliders here immediately.
All right.
How was your drive?
That was a different experience.
I have been told that I am to notify the Attorney General, the FBI, the CIA, any of the criminal agencies or intelligence agencies I can.
I see.
But perhaps your punishment is actually this Bring a Trailer challenge.
Oh my. All right.
Your options are the 67 Lincoln Continental convertible, which was delivered new to Hackensack, New Jersey, and said to have been acquired by the seller from a second owner in 23. It had a repaint in Florentine gold, a retrim in black leather, engine service work, transmission rebuild, and R134A conversion for the air conditioning system, and so it's not a Freon system anymore, which is awful nice of them. It's got a 462 cubic inch V8, an Edelbrock AVS2 carburetor, and it is shifting through a shift select 3-speed automatic transmission.
Okay.
That's where things get simple. Now
Oh.
things get complicated. Because first there was a refurbishment where they replaced the convertible deck lid cylinder, left rear window motor, door lock cylinders, door open switches, relays, power retractable antenna, weather stripping, and the seller notes that there was a tear in the soft top. But then they refurbished it, where they replaced the central steering link, dual master cylinder, proportioning valves, brake booster and check valve, front brake pads, real brake hose, cylinders, shoes, and hardware. The first ever multi-page cheat sheet on Bring a Trailer, and that was until they refurbished it, where they replaced the headlamp and dimmer switches, turn signal and flasher relays, ignition cylinder and key, door panels, teak wood veneer, carpets, trunk liners, and that was where it finally sat. Until they refurbished it, where they replaced the alternator and battery, distributor vacuum, advance, fan clutch, air filter, valve cover gaskets, timing cover seal, carburetor spacer and gaskets, hood insulation pad. This is the Continental of Theseus.
I was going to
It's
say,
not really clear what part of this car is original.
like, how much of this is the original car?
Anyway, I set a hard limit for myself at 2 full pages of notes, so
Fair.
let's talk about the Coronet,
Yes.
both of which are beautiful cars, by the way. This is a 66 Coronet 500 convertible. It was acquired by the seller's father-in-law around 92, refurbished in the mid-90s. It's a 383 cubic inch V8 linked to a 4-speed manual. 4-speed manual on a convertible from that era, kind of nice. QFT 4-barrel carburetor, Wayland intake manifold, aluminum radiator, hubcaps, bucket seats, yada, 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 yada. Finished in dark green. It's got an all-transistor AM radio. I'm not sure why that.
All-transistor?
All-transistor. It's like, as opposed to vacuum tube?
Sure.
Huh. Heater, front lap belts, black carpeting. It's got a 120 mile an hour front sweep speedometer, which is kind of a novelty these days. Power's routed through the rear wheels. A collection of spare parts is available and will accompany the vehicle, including a hood, fenders, doors, bumpers, and trim.
So you could replace them.
So you could refurbish them and replace them. What, in my opinion, what likely happened here is the owner of this said, "Shit, when am I ever going to be able to get spare parts for this thing if something happens? Every time I go to the junkyard, I'm going to pull anything off anything I can find that's in mechanically good condition."
Sure.
At least that's my guess. Virginia title. Oh, and here's my favorite part. The title lists the odometer as exceeds.
Exceeds.
Don't know what that means.
Do not know what that means.
And so now, you need to tell me which one of these beautiful, but very old convertibles went for more money on Bring a Trailer.
I'm just gonna call it for the Coronet.
I'm going to call it for the Coronet. Would you like to explain yourself?
Sure. The first one, the Continental, it's got a lot of work done. It's not really even clear how much of that is the original car. And at some point, it's like, what are you getting? Are you getting a car for owning the car? Like, as the original car, at which point that's sort of out the window. But the second one, you could have a commute car, which these probably are not that.
I agree with every word you just said, which is why this is so fucking off the spoke.
No.
$55,000 for the Continental convertible. For a Continental convertible that is not any longer the same Continental convertible. And maybe someone watching this knows something about the Lincoln Continental convertible and why. Like, is it the suicide doors? Is it the fact that the doors open in opposite direction? Like, I don't know what the deal is here, but that's like that's almost a 4-to-1
Wow.
diff on this, and I can't explain it to you.
Unknown.
No points for you.
Such is the way. of
I
things.
apologize.
No worries.
On the other hand, you can bring me drain.
I will bring you a drain.
Thank you. Bring a trailer drain. Drain, how was your drive? I see. What else?
It was frustrating to get pole position and then just have it gone in an instant. So
I think this being our first lengthy oval race on a super speedway, there are a number of revisions that we might make to the format, but I don't know if any revisions we can make to the format here, other than adding pit stops and some other joker factors, accounts for the fact that you're basically in a pack or you're fucked.
yeah,
It's tough to be fucked in this context.
When I was alone, the highest I could get was 178, and when I was in a pack, it was like 185.
Mickey was out there
yeah.
blasting 188s at a certain point.
Yeah.
Is it the shoes? Drain? The last time we did this, I assured you that I'd picked one out for you.
Yes.
This time I assure you it's random.
Okay. Ooh.
You need to choose between a Ford neon sign, a Ford service neon sign, and a Chevy neon sign, a Chevy Corvette neon sign. Would you like to know about the neon signs?
Yes.
The Ford service neon sign is a 2020 acquisition. It's 48 inches by 33 inches. It runs on 120 volt circuitry, quote unquote. I assume that just means it's 120 volt AC. It's offered out of Brighton, Michigan in a wooden shipping pallet. And you now know everything there is to know about the neon sign.
It looks like it has bullet holes in it.
Yeah. The penetrations
for
for
where
the
neon tubes go through. Very slick.
Twindigo was very careful to inform me that these might not be real neon signs and that they could be LEDs, and so we need to check them for like the offshoots for the gas tubes and the penetrations there. It goes up against the Chevy neon sign, which is a 36-inch diameter circle and incorporates red, white, and blue neon illumination by a pair of 120 volt cords. A pair of 120 volt cords.
That's twice as many.
The metal enclosure incorporates mounting holes constructed in 2023 and acquired by the seller the same year. The sign is now offered on no reserve out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And you now know everything about the Chevy neon sign. So
Let's see.
now you got to make some decisions here.
Well,
They both come in shipping pallets.
what was the dimensions on the Ford?
So I see we're going to do a by mass or volume calculation here. The dimensions on the Ford sign. Sorry, these are difficult to pull. There we go.
That's fine.
The dimensions on the Ford sign are 48 wide by 33 tall.
Okay, so they're about the same.
And the dimensions on the circle are 36 in diameter.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Chevrolet sign.
All right.
It's one more color. it's twice as many chords.
It's twice, and it has twice the electric goodness.
And I picked a Chevy out on the track, so again, going with my gut.
Here's your answer. $200 more. Drain, that gets you 1 challenge point plus 1.
Holding on to. Can we talk about that Lincoln Continental? Was that the Boss Hog, like Dukes of Hazzard?
All it needs is the horn at the
Yeah.
front. Oh,
And that's why it went for so much. Because somebody's gonna go get them Duke boys.
They're gonna get the
Yeah.
horn put on the front. The
Yeah.
cattle horn put on the front. See, I've learned something today. Thank you, Drain.
Yeah,
And you
you're
get a
welcome.
point. What a day. Bring me Mickey. Rella, it wasn't the vet sign. It was the opposite of the vet sign. Mickey.
Hello.
That was quite a drive.
Yeah, it was a fun one.
What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
It feels like an endurance race. I could feel like in my arms and in my heel just from having my foot down the whole time. Like I wouldn't want to do it for 4 hours.
Space Punies asked for a zip tie to tie his accelerator down, and
That would have been good.
we told him no. So this was these were random lots this time around. I think you got the fun one.
Okay.
Ready? The 13,000-mile 2017 Benz G550 wagon 4x4 squared. We'll talk about that in a second. Or the Crate Ramjet 350 powered custom Toyota Land Cruiser. So right off the bat, ridiculous off-roaders here. The G-Wagon, if you're familiar, like that's the Benz top line off-road. Footballers in Europe drive it around, although, and it's important to note, they tend to drive around the AMG model, which this is not. This is the top of the not AMG prepped G-Wagons, and that probably counts for something. It's a 4x4 squared, which means that it comes stock with portal axles. Are you familiar with those?
I don't know if I am.
So you will note that like you can't see the axle running between the center line of the wheels on the Benz. It's because
Okay.
the axle is actually up top and runs into like a transfer gear that does a gear reduction that fits into the hub, and then the hub reduces the gear and drives the center line. And so its axles are actually at the top there, and then the hubs are doing the conversion and delivering the force below. And so its high center angle is significantly better across the lateral because it can't get stuck up on its axle, which if you look obviously here at the Land Cruiser, though those wheels be beefy and those axles be strong, at the end of the day you can get strung up on those and hit rocks on them. So in theory that makes it a better off-roader. Having never driven a vehicle with portal axles or put one to the test, I really couldn't tell you. So the Benz finished in Designonite Black Magno. It's a lot of words and syllables. 22-inch AMG multi-spoke alloy wheels, not the AMG. Has command navigation module, which I personally think is the worst of the available navigation modules. It's got 13,000 miles on it. It's being offered with a clean Carfax report and a clean title in Wyoming. Heated, ventilated, everything, leather wrapped, everything, 6,300 RPM redline. It's a 416 horsepower, 450 foot-pound V8, although obviously not the monster that is in the AMG. Would you like to know about the Land Cruiser?
I would love to. Tell me about it.
The custom Toyota Land Cruiser was assembled in 2013 by Larry Griffey's Hot Rods and Restorations of Knoxville, Tennessee. Current owner got it in 24, so this is a little bit of a flip. Finished in Nara bronze over black and tan cloth. It's got a GM Performance crate engine, the 350 Ci V8, linked to a 4-speed automatic, Atlas dual range transfer case, Dynatrack front and rear axles, air locker differentials, pretty cool on a Land Cruiser. Electronic fuel injection, hydraulically adjustable lift kit, disc brakes, alloy wheels. The BF Goodrich tires are 35 inches. A Warn winch, a roll bar, air conditioning, custom sound system, aluminum everything, the 120-inch wheelbase, front buckets, folding rear benches, 3-spoke billet specialty steering wheel, front's custom-colored dashboard with classic instruments in aircraft-style instrumentation, and an upholstered roll cage, air conditioning, locking center console, billet aluminum door handles. Like, they just threw metal at this thing. 200-mile-an-hour speedometer, which I think we can all be pretty certain is a lie. It's got a tack, it's got gauges. It's had 2,000 miles shown since its build. We talked about the engine. That's a Ramjet 350 Ci from GM Performance. This truck was basically engineered and built piece by piece. So you've got the 13,000 mile, relatively recent G-Wagon with the factory weird portal axle kit, making it arguably a superior off-roader, or at least you can hide small children under it without hitting them. Or the made-to-purpose Ramjet 350 powered custom Toyota Land Cruiser that looks like it was kind of assembled bespoke for purpose. Both of them, I'm sure, excellent off-roaders.
And this is the asking price, not the sell price, correct?
No, this is what they went for.
This is
This
what they
is the
actually went
final
for?
price on the auction.
I'm going to go with the G-Wagon then.
Tell me why.
I feel like people always ask a lot for the sort of pieced together cars that they made themselves, but they never go for as much. Whereas like the G-Wagons are always so expensive. Even a couple years old, 13,000 miles on it, they're not cheap.
I feel like the G-Wagon is both everything wrong and everything right in automotive truck engineering. It's like such a stunning piece, and yet it's so fucking pretentious. Like, God.
I wouldn't drive one, I don't think.
You want to hate it, but you can't. Let's see how much this one was loved. $148,000.
They're just so expensive.
And I think you are exactly right for what it's worth. I think selling your own custom dream car or dream truck is not going to produce the same results as finding a high desirability, high demand, high rarity luxury item and flipping it back onto the market. You get one challenge point, which is kind of great for you since you already took pole position tonight in the first feature race. That's going to do well for you. I'm going to go ahead and hit the danger button here because it's time to run the next feature race. You can get yourself potted in and set up. Thank you, Mickey.
Awesome, thank you.
Right? All right. I have been looking forward to this one for a while.
Okay.
Tell us why. Actually, I'm going to tell us why. Our final car for the night. Someone should definitely say why. Our final car for the night is a bit of an oddball. The SRX, or Superstar Racing Experience. It was developed for a TV show of the same name. The SRX is a high-powered, low-downforce oval racer meant to propel its drivers to television fame, if they did not have it already, because that's kind of where they sourced everyone from the show. The project fell apart, but we still have the car in iRacing, so we're going to huck it around a track.
And we take the SRX onto Pocono Raceway, otherwise known as the Tricky Triangle. Hiding in the hills of central Pennsylvania, the 2.5-mile oval is split into 3 sections by 3 completely different turns with different bank angles and radii. Many oval courses are set it and forget it.
Like perhaps the one we just saw.
Just like that one we just saw, where the primary concern is keeping pace with the pack, as we saw, and finding your overtake moments, as we saw. But at Pocono, every time you change direction, it's going to be a bit of a challenge. Good thing we have low downforce cars.
That sounds so fun for you. Go have fun. All right.
Oh, wow.
We are already hearing people exclaiming "Oh wows" in the back of the house. I'm just going to go ahead and put ourselves into pod view here and then take a quick look. Make sure everybody's getting what they need. Space
Force
Beauty's
speed.
showing off the the digital dash here. We're gonna zoom in and look at that while we're practicing. What are we learning about the transmission?
I'm going to be pegging the red limiter for a good portion of the race.
Is it pegged at 140?
Yeah.
Is that where it runs out of gears? Can you take the whole thing flat?
Do what?
I said, are you taking the whole thing flat? Do we need more gears on this car?
We might need more gears.
That's unfortunate. I definitely would not want to force you to do 20, 30 minutes on Pocono if we're only going to be able to get a max speed of 140 out of these things. I would far rather we take our SRXs to a more productive location. What's the verdict here? Way too much time in Redline? If so, these are for your points. If you're willing to let me scrub this and put you in a surprise run, I am happy to reset a session for you.
I would go for the dice roll.
All right, I want to see, by show of thumbs up at the camera, do you want to re-roll on your session tonight, or do you want to huck these things around? That's two thumbs up, 3 thumbs up. Mickey, okay, go ahead and pit him in. We're gonna take a moment, and what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go back to a desk clean, and we're gonna have Space Beauty Trap talk about what the fuck happened back there, while I set up another session for you. One moment. And then the sale was reported to have fallen through and resulted in SRX management filing a lawsuit. Okay, there's drama here. I'm glad we have the SRX now because there's drama.
Like, that's what they should have made the show about.
the show should have been about the legal challenges of trying to get an SRX track day on television.
A show about building a racing league from scratch. Yeah.
I don't see how that would be appealing to anyone.
This track is a handful.
Welcome back to the
Yes,
Roval,
welcome
lads.
back.
Oh, it's a hard left out of the pits.
Those cars are adorable. Little red X's.
Looks like it's dead.
It's like you're racing someone's drywall project.
Oh,
Gotta
so
get
that's
used
what
to
you were talking
brakes.
about with muscling the wheel over. Yee. Did they have power steering on this thing?
I'm going to imagine that the show this was built for did not include power steering because it's as entertaining as me watching this right now. What's out there? There's nothing out there, man.
This engine is, wow, it's making noises.
Mickey out there doing the numbers already has it up to its notional top speed.
That's my mistake. I'm sorry.
Braking looks like a bit of a chore out there.
You let off the gas, the engine gets mad.
Yeah.
So low downforce, you say?
Low downforce, I say. They may penalize you for cutting the track there. You should reconsider that.
Yeah, I gotta learn how the brakes work on this thing.
And Trap, you're on pod 1. We've got the brake calibration turned way up.
Right, but, you know, the car doesn't stop right away.
Yeah, that pesky physics is at it again.
This might be the car that 15 newton meters is too much.
Have you met your match?
Maybe.
Heartburn turn, alright.
Well, you'll be happy to know as a consolation prize, I backed the race time down to 20 minutes. So, anytime you wish to begin your qualifying lap, please feel free.
Will this have AI?
Yes.
Right.
As many we could find to volunteer for it. They weren't enthusiastic.
How many celebrities can we get?
Mowing the lawn, mowing the lawn.
This car is a handful.
Just doesn't turn.
I mean, eventually it turns.
It's a non-conventional line, Mickey.
This thing is way harder to drive than it looks.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks pretty hard to drive, man. Drain, is this your second sallying forth?
I don't know.
They're showing us the black flag. You didn't exit the pits safely. You have to drive through the pits without stopping.
The nice thing about practice is you can just ignore them and start over. Space Punies diving to the inside and getting punished extremely for it. What I'm hearing is I need to drive one of these after we're done here.
I could have caught it if I didn't goose the gas.
All right, Trap, let him have it.
Now we do it for real.
Oof. That looked painful.
Well, I'm glad I got a good lap in.
that wasn't the time to get a good lap in. Now is the time to get a good lap in. Don't do well in practice. Do well in qualifying.
I would have liked to go around once.
That's just a cosmetic spoiler on there.
Remember that the AI does not count for your score. It's only you all, so don't see the red mist.
Man, this pit exit is something else.
It's really rude.
Complete horse crap. Yeah.
Trap, how have you already black flagged your quality?
What? Apparently, I was not out of the pits.
I did the same thing, apparently.
I'm beginning to wonder why the SRX series was not a commercial success. I'm also beginning to understand why the SRX group sued Skip Barber when the sale fell through.
You have to brake so early.
Gotta brake super early on that.
The SRX car was designed from the ground up by founder Ray Evernham, whom, when we do the research here, is an American consultant for Hendrick Companies, formerly an auto racing crew chief for Bill Davis Racing, owner of a motorsport company.
I think he needs to go back to school.
A three-time Winston Cup Series champion with driver Jeff Gordon in 1999, won the Winston Cup Illustrated Person of the Year, inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2018. We are assured that the gentleman who designed this car is credentialed. Following along with Space Punies here, trying to make sense of these braking lines. So that was about a half-force brake for about a second. That wasn't the worst. It just looks like they didn't finish it. It looks unfinished.
I'm not even sure where the pit exit is. Like, am I on the track?
Trap, is that your oil temp that's flashing there? It's your water temp. Your water temp is
yeah.
too low. Believe it or not, Space Punies, it looks like you qualified at the top of the list here.
Yeah, I'm in disbelief.
What? That does not bode well for the AI's ability to drive this car either.
I think slow is smooth, but I'm trying to figure out the second part.
Slow is smooth, comma, don't die.
I wish I could click on people's cars and see what they look like.
Mine is black with gray accent on the side.
Trap is giving us the manual treatment of finishing his race.
Pit stop team 10.
Apparently I have a pit penalty.
All right, let's check a flag. 3, 2, 1. Right here.
Okay, Trap is black and white.
We're waiting on you, Trap.
That flag waver is earning their money.
Gentlemen, prepare to grid in, and good luck. Nothing about that made this look easy in any way, shape, or form.
This is going to be the hardest one by far.
Do you remember back to the halcyon days of dirt racing at Kokomo?
1 degree, oh my.
And the drama begins.
Trying to get my water temp up.
I'm not even sure which. I guess I stay behind this car, alright.
The puzzle game that is the parade lap.
I think the real trick is to start the race without a black flag.
That's going to be my... I think it's always the person in first that has to watch out for that. Or on pole.
The good news is that nobody can advance past your position until the green.
They're saying catch the 9 car, but I can't see any of the numbers because these cars are so well designed
Yeah.
and so well marked.
So you want
They
the,
have great livery, everybody out there watching.
you want the blue car. I think that's a 9 on its spoiler back there.
So
Right line.
you gotta trust someone else's judgment of where you're supposed to be in the scrum.
Letter 1, Carbide.
I've been made to believe that at some point the pace car exits the track. Is that a thing?
Pace car hasn't left the track in 45 years.
I don't think I even know how long a lap is in this on this track.
That was an aggressive move. What was that? All right, no one can pass you until greens.
Rude.
Hold on. Did you got free of that? Space Beauty's out in front with nothing behind him.
What is... I don't even know what happened.
Looks like there was a heck of a first turn scrum there, but it all happened behind Space Beauties.
That place that it goes green is very rude. Like right in the...
Drain, you've been to Charlotte before. Is it all bullshit?
It was set up for NASCAR that day, not this bullshit.
God, that braking zone's like 200 feet long.
This is the most I've had to step on the brakes. This is the car that's going to put mileage on your sim rigs.
How is it under acceleration? Is it at least stable at the rear?
Not really.
What redeeming qualities would you like to imbue this car with?
Helps your patience.
It makes you feel better about your own car that you drive every day.
The thing is, it's going really fast.
Like, what I kind of want to know is, did iRacing pull their punches here, or did they exaggerate this silliness, or is this a perfect representation of the beast?
I can see it being this like this in real life.
Looking at the numbers and the letters, with 16:04 on the clock, we've got Trap in position 24, bringing up the rear and looking for Tom. We've got Space Punies out in front, clear of traffic, turning in 128.8, and about 3.5 seconds ahead of his next competitor. We've got Mickey out in traffic at 21. Playing a little bit of bumper cars with the walls. and Drain just ahead of him in 20. 3 seconds separating the front and the rear. Hearing the wheels working hard. Everyone's breathing slightly labored as they wrestle these cars around the track. Mickey in a knife fight with a mayonnaise car. Taking a 3-second penalty on that cut. He will probably be able to serve that naturally through here. But he could also spin out in an almost perfect circle. It's America's home for racing. Careful on that gas. Space Punies has increased his lead over the second place car to 5.4 seconds. Drain at the back of a pack in position 20. All of these fools look like they want to get got.
Ooh-wee.
Extreme braking. Best we can tell, no casualties. Everything's fine. The Hellman's car has regained its pace. Drain now needs to put the Wrangler car under in order to advance. Space Punies lead out in front, holding at 5.7. Mickey's got a 2.8 he's got to serve. Fortunately, bouncing on the wall will account for most of that, and everybody makes out. Itsatrap flying through, applying some substantial braking and bringing it around for the chicane. And the mayonnaise car is back.
You're pulling away from the car behind. The gap is 5.8 seconds. The car in C1 just set the fastest lap. 26.12.
We're not sure what happened to the Wrangler car, but Drain now holding 19. Hearing some dangerous shifting noises from back here. What do we got? Everything's fine. Trap taking a blue flag and going to bumper cars. You almost caught that. Space Punies losing the eye of the tiger with 11:30 left on the clock. On the positive side, now he has something to look forward to. Fast hand's not enough to save him from that cut, but not going to cost him a whole lot because it was already pretty slow.
The lead consider 27.125.
Hearing the creaking from the pods as they try to put the brakes on these things. We may have found our first car that every driver universally hates to drive.
That coming up on right.
Space Puny's attempting to retake his position up front in close contact with an AI.
Rude. I let him pass and they gave me a penalty for it?
Keep it up. We're in a great spot.
9 minutes on the clock.
Pick up the cord. You've got to slow down and give up that time.
The 30-minute NASCAR marathon. Not even close to a premonition of what a marathon this would be. Space Puny's trying to make up 2.3 seconds. Rella, I will get everyone's opinion before we close out here on the record, but I can tell you already that this car has not made any friends or allies tonight.
You're pulling away from the car behind. The gap is 7.8 seconds.
You can't hear the labored breathing and grunts behind me. Drain's starting to get into a rhythm. Mickey do a little bit of wall decoration there. Trap about a lap out of contention at this point. And Space Puny's still trying to pick up that 2.5 seconds. When we looked at the description of this vehicle and thought to ourselves, high horsepower and low downforce, that sounded like an entertaining thing. I think what we are discovering here is that high horsepower and low downforce are the least communicative qualities about these vehicles. They look just absolutely laborious to do anything with. Is this the Malort of race cars? Six minutes on the clock. They are in the last third, past the last third. Space Puny's working hard for this overtake. He's going to get it on the exit of this infield, and he's going to take it in the oval. It's all going to come down to the brake zone. And the AI cuts back to the outside. That's got to be the worst. Wisely choosing not to dive bomb in there, holds his distance. Gets a better accelerating line out of there, but goes outside. That's going to cost him some time and distance. Once again, we're back to the how do they brake. It's going to answer this. Braking late, holding the inside, gives it up. That's always a tough call. Planting your nose where it doesn't technically belong. Five minutes left on the clock and half a second still separating Space Punis from second. First place car still up there, tantalizing in front of him. Incident did not give him the pace change that he needed, unfortunately. But he might get it up here on the exit into the oval. The 55 car is faster on the gas there, unfortunately. Extreme line to the inside. Decides to get serious, but cooks it too hard. However, I was going to say, it only cost him a second, but the positional gap was unfortunate. With 3 minutes 58 on the clock, he's going to have to climb this ladder again. Drain has improved things to 22. Rolling past Trap, who has done a little bit of creative redecorating. Two minutes 50. 2 second gap between Space Punis and second. He's back in striking distance. Just needs to get one good corner exit. Ooh, wall's going to cost him. That might have closed the door. Drain still hunting for Eric Hudek, 12 seconds out in front with a minute 14. That's probably not going to happen. Mickey hanging out in the back, comfortably in traffic. He has nothing to prove here, having won the previous race. Trap out on the outside with 50 seconds left. White flag, last lap. Catches the oversteer, brings it back in. Final lap, finish strong. Mickey out there in the live stream, as they say, chasing the Thrustmaster. A fine brand for equipment. We've got 3 white flags. Nobody in striking distance on this last lap, so this is probably where the standings are going to sit. The coveted black-white flag combo. Did you pull off just a hair early?
Yeah, I think I pulled off before the checker.
I'm going to recommend getting out of the stream of traffic. Mickey bringing it in, and Drain looking to finish strong here. About to hit his checkered flag. Sacrifices everything for the corner and brings it across the line.
Chicken flag, chicken flag.
Pull it off to the side and give yourself... I'm going to be honest. I was going to say give yourself a slap on the back on a cold beverage, but I think this is more of a trauma management situation. Is there a...
Oh dear.
How do we make everyone feel okay after that? That looked savage. So that's the bottom of the list there. It looks like Trap, Mickey, Drain, Space Punies. Where did you wind up finally finishing in that third position? And that ends the second feature race, which wound up being technically the third feature race because this was a bad vehicle selection. And we're going to bring everybody back home. I'd like to capture everybody's words about this car before we close out for the night. Trap, if you could sum up the SRX in 3 words or less, what words would you use?
Hard to steer.
Hard to steer. Would anyone like to provide more words than hard to steer?
Conversation through drywall.
Conversation through drywall. Anyone else have some insights here?
It was really, really stubborn.
Really, really stubborn. Also 3 words.
Did not want to behave. 3 words. Designer. Send jail.
Designer send jail is the final call for the night. Which brings us to, that is all the time that we have. Shout out to our excellent drivers and the torture that we inadvertently put them through to finish out the night. You finished strong. Shout out to the co-host Trap, who not only had to do all of that stuff, but also be on point up here. And then, of course, as always, the volunteers and support people that make this project possible.
All right. As always, Tonight We Race is a community activity. We play as a community, we talk as a community, and we frequently source our content from this community.
And as a community, we will never do that again.
Not intentionally. But you know, we do want to hear from you, and that means the best place for that is going to be our Discord, and it's linked in the About section of this channel.
You may have noticed that we have these racing pods over here, and every so often, usually on Saturday, one or more of them are empty for a show. If you reside in the greater Seattle area, are over the age of 18, play well with others, can be reliably scheduled, or are willing to sign a code of conduct, liability waiver, and talent release, there may be some pod time for you. You also need to qualify on the SRX at the Charlotte Roval to prove that you have the mettle necessary to do whatever that was. This is obviously a volunteer role. You help us make the show more interesting, and you get to sit in the bouncy chair for a segment or two. Of course, the Discord is where all of that happens. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for driving. Thank you for coming out. The house hasn't blown down yet, so hopefully the bomb cyclone hasn't done too much damage to any of you out there in the greater Seattle area. And we will see you tomorrow night for the Wednesday crew in GT4 League, where the SRX will no longer be contemplated. Thank you and good night.
Ow, my arm.
That's hard to watch. That's hard to talk about. So real talk. Does anyone need medical intervention of any type? Does anyone need alcoholic intervention of any type?
If you make us race those again, I quit.
Well, there you have it. I want to mute the mic now.
Yeah.